Welcome to Monster Territory, ladies and gentlemen. That was more like it. Red Sox win tonight 4-2. The offense, they've been really scuffling as of late. They have not been able to find their way. Very inconsistent since coming out of the All-Star break, but they still had their struggles tonight. Still had some times where, had some runners in scoring position. You could have taken advantage of some more opportunities there, but they got the job done. 10 hits on the night. You had a few extra base hits along the way. Jarren Duran, absolutely fantastic tonight. He is my player of the game. Let's just get to that right away. 3 for 4, a couple of triples on the night here. Had a double, a couple of RBIs as well. He looked fantastic. Now, Alex Bregman, he had a solid night as well. Went 3 for 4. That man, they need to, I keep saying it. How many times do I got to say it with Mr. Alex Bregman? They got to get this guy signed up to a long-term extension. This guy was basically on one leg. What's that old video of Madden where, God, who was that player? Remember that one video that I'm talking about where the guy's running, trying to get a touchdown, and the guy's commentating in. He's got a broken leg. He's like, oh, I got to put the team on my back, though. Does anyone remember what I'm talking about? Like, that was like 12 years ago. Someone put that on YouTube or whatever. That was Alex Bregman there tonight. This guy was hobbling home, scoring. That's the dedication I like to see. Greg Jennings, that was it. I was thinking Randall Cobb. I don't know. I knew that wasn't it, but anyway, yes. Alex Bregman putting the team on his back, though. Give that man an extension. Roman Anthony, solid night here tonight. 2 for 2. Had a double, a couple of walks along the way. Roman just time and time again keeps showing you how good he's going to be. But speaking of a guy being pretty good, how about Garrett Crochet? Garrett Crochet tonight, he had to shake off a couple of big knocks off of him early on. Shohei Ohtani taking him to town. I mean, listen, Garrett Crochet, welcome to the club. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, he's gonna ruin your night anywhere you go. Shohei Ohtani, the guy's amazing. But him and Teoscar going deep off him in the first inning, but Crochet, being the ace he is, settled back down against this very good lineup and proceeded to dominate the rest of the way. 10 strikeouts for Garrett Crochet. Did give up 8 hits overall, but the guy really just went to work here tonight. 5 starts now on the year where he's had double-digit strikeouts. We'll get into his performance here tonight. A couple other news as well. We're going to dive into this tonight. Marcelo Meyer, looking like he's going to be out for an extended period of time. Alex Cora saying today that it's going to be a while before you see Marcelo Meyer. When it comes to the wrists, I mean, you go back to Nomar, right? You go back to Nomar Garcia-Parra way back when, right? Had a pretty bad wrist injury. Who remembers that? You never want to play around with that stuff, man. It's always the shoulders, right? The elbows, but especially for the hitters, man, you got to be wary of the wrists, right? Hopefully it's not going to be anything serious. Hopefully he's not going to miss a tremendous amount of time, but it's looking like here, I don't know. Could we see a situation where the Red Sox just don't want to rush him back? This is going to be one of your future stars. I wonder if the Red Sox maybe take their time with Marcelo Meyer, but that also gets into another conversation here, a bit of a segue. The Red Sox, another trade deadline report today from Ken Rosenthal. Red Sox have Yandy Diaz is available, and Rosenthal was reporting today that the Rays could be leaning more towards selling. I could see the Rays maybe doing some kind of a soft sell. We'll see what they end up doing. But if Yandy Diaz does become available, Ken Rosenthal is reporting that the Red Sox could be at the top of the list for teams that are interested. We'll get into that. How does that tie into Marcelo Meyer? Jarren Duran is involved in that conversation as well. I'm going to put it all together. I'll put a bow on it tonight. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Let's get into it, everybody. Let's get into it. I feel like I'm rambling right now. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. A lot of you are trickling on in. A lot of the familiar faces here. George, Zachary, Chris, Mason, Slammin' Johnson. How you doing? Wyatt, how you doing, my friend? Hello, everybody. Welcome. If you can for me, all I ask, just hit the like button for me. Do all the YouTube stuff. Hit the like. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 5K by the end of the season. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into it here. Now, also, well, I'll get to the standings in just a little bit, but let's start off with Garrett Crochet. Like I said, right? He got hit pretty good there in the first inning. He took a couple of jabs right to the jaw early on, but really got himself together after that. 10 strikeouts overall on the night. He struck out Ohtani twice after Ohtani homered off of him in the first inning. Teoscar proceeded to homer off from after that. But that was pretty much it for Garrett Crochet on the night. But here was the breakdown when it came to the pitch mix, leading with the four-seamer for tonight. Velo was looking good here. It was up a little bit from his yearly average, right around 97 miles per hour on average tonight. Mixing in cutters, sinkers, sweepers, had some change-ups as well. But what really stood out to me with Crochet, not just the strikeouts, but just the amount of swing and miss he was getting. He had a 38% whiff rate tonight. That's up almost 10% on his yearly average, which is 29%. The fastball had 6 whiffs. He got 4 Ks on that tonight. The cutter had 7 swing and misses. The sweeper had 4. They just couldn't really get to him. You know, again, they took their big swings in the early going, trying to get ahead of, out of him. I can't say that line. Trying to get ahead of him. And, that's what teams usually try to do against these good pitchers, because you try to do what you can against them in the early going, because there's probably a good chance they're going to settle in at some point. So again, a couple of big knocks early on. And then also after that, Freddie Freeman in the first inning had a base hit, but then he got thrown out at third by Duran. And he actually got a little more help later on. Carlos Narvaez throwing out Teoscar in the 5th inning. So overall, worked around some base hits, a ton of swing and miss. He looked great tonight. You look great. The stuff was fantastic with Garrett Crochet. Solid night. Now for the offense. Let's get to the offense here. Like I said, the offense, they've been scuffling a little bit. They've had a couple of good moments, right? You won that game in Wrigley late against the Phillies. You really you had that big comeback win there. We had a grand slam from Romy. But other than that, they've been pretty inconsistent for the most part. But 10 hits overall in the night. Second inning, what I loved about the Red Sox game, their performance in this game here tonight, battling back, right? You're falling in an early hole. You're thinking, man, we're just struggling against all these, really good teams over here in the National League, the Cubs, the Phillies, right? And you're thinking, man, are we on our way again to, dropping the first couple and then trying to win, trying to salvage the series in the third game? But the Red Sox said, nah. We're not doing that tonight. We're going to get back into this one for Mr. Crochet. They answered back right away in the second inning. Story with the walk. Carlos Narvaez with his 21st double. Jarren Duran with his 11th triple on the year. That ended up tying it at 2. Went over Andy Pajez's head. Ended up holding up at third base. The ball got by Will Smith behind the plate. I was thinking Duran, there was a chance he was going to run home on that. He was thinking about it. He started kind of going that way, and I'm thinking, no, Duran, no, just stay at third, please, stay at third. Thank goodness he did. You ended up getting the sac fly from Abraham Toro. Red Sox go up 3-2 at that point. 5th inning, couple of outs. Bregman with the base hit off the Bregman with the base hit. Roman Anthony with the double off the monster, and here was the got to put the team on my back dough, the Greg Jennings moment. Bregman, it's like, I'm not laughing at Bregman's injury, but it's always how they cut the camera to Bregman just running, because he's not running at full speed, which obviously I understand why. He doesn't want to, get hurt again after the quad injury. It's very smart what he's doing, but it's always so funny the way the camera just cuts to Bregman running at like 50%. I'm thinking, this man's actually going to go home. And I'm thinking about, how do you even process that? Like, if you're Bregman in your head, you're rounding third. Do you think I don't know, does the competitive instincts just come in where you're just going all out? Or are you also thinking in the moment, like, no, I gotta keep myself at around 70% here. I can't go all out. Let's see. And ended up scoring. God, he did it, man. Bregman, what a dude. What a dude Bregman is. He scored there basically on a broken freaking leg. That made it 4-2. 6th inning, Jarren Duran, second triple on the night, 12th on the year. He is second in Major League Baseball, only behind Corbin Carroll. Gotta love it, man. Jarren Duran. They added on a double in the 8th inning. He's 26th of the year. He got stranded, though, said he with the strikeout. Overall, great night for the offense. The bullpen came in. They locked it down. Justin Wilson, he was solid, had a couple of strikeouts. Will Smith, base hit. Ended up trying to take second base, but Seti throwing him out. Gotta love that defense there tonight. Garrett Whitlock, he's been excellent as of late. 1-2-3 in the 8th inning. Couple of strikeouts. Chapman with his 18th save. We had a bit of cinema, though. A little bit of cinema, ladies and gentlemen. We had Mookie Betts making his return to Fenway Park. Pinch hit appearance. I was wondering, like, do the head honchos over on Fox, hey, put Mookie in here, get him in there. We need the ratings a little bit more. I always wonder about stuff like that. Probably not. I'm kidding. But Aroldis Chapman locked it down, struck him out to end the game. Mookie Betts, I love you, but we needed to get that one there tonight. 18th save on the year for Aroldis Chapman. Red Sox win. Let's take a look at the standings here. We got the Red Sox still holding it down for the third wild card. And they're tied with the Mariners as of right now. And then the Yankees, they lose again here today. And actually the Yankees, they just made a move for Ahmed Rosario. So the Yankees are trying to make some moves here, especially after Aaron Judge just went down. Aaron Judge dealing with an elbow injury right now. This is the time to strike if you're the Red Sox. I mean, listen, the Blue Jays, I can't believe, the Blue Jays, are they running away with this division? Like, what in the heck right now? It's like, I swear, just last week, the Blue Jays were half a game out, and all of a sudden, they're 6.5 up in this division. What the heck is going on here? The Toronto Blue Jays, tip of the cap to them. I mean, I am Blue Jays fans. I apologize. I was very low on this Blue Jays team coming into the year, but holy cow, they're red hot right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 4 straight games. Goodness gracious. Blue Jays fans, I'm sorry. Man. But they're running away. Like, what the heck here? They were like a half game out. It felt like yesterday. But the Yankees, I mean, they're free falling right now. Hey, they're still holding on to the first wild card here. The Mariners, they are live right now. Let's take a look what's going on. They are tied with the Angels as we speak in the bottom of the third. And the Red Sox hanging on to it. But the Rangers, they won again here today. They've won 5 straight. They're 8-2 in the last 10. They got the Braves tomorrow. So the Rangers, they're right there. So we'll talk about the Rays here in just a little bit. But, I mean, they've been really slipping here as of late. 3-7 in the last 10. They've lost 3 straight. I mean, you still got that really good run differential. It's a good Rays team. They got talent. Coming into the year, I wasn't sure if they were quite there, but I knew, like, they had some dudes on that team. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about the Rays in just a little bit. But the Red Sox, they're in an interesting spot here. You feel good, but this is tight right now, especially with how well the Rangers are playing as of right now. I mean, who knows what this is going to look like given another week, another couple of weeks. I mean, could we see a situation where, the Red Sox, the Mariners, the Rangers, could the Yankees fall out of this here? I don't know. I mean, they're just trying to stay afloat. Man, oh man. Gotta love it. Let's take a look. What's going on in the National League right now? I feel like I haven't paid too much attention. I mean, look at the National League wild card going on right now. Holy cow. We got 5 teams just in this mix right now. You got the Reds, the Giants, the Cardinals, all within 2.5 games. Holy cow, it's a dogfight over in the National League, but not so much over here in the American League. Well, yes, but not as many teams. So we'll keep checking the standings every single day. But everybody, we are going to get into some news here. We're going to get into the Game 3 preview in just a little bit. Again, if you can, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 5K by the end of the season. Before we get to all that, though, we got some bills to pay. We got to keep the lights on. I'll be right back. Never bet on baseball before? Well, it's easy. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Now, here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Game 3 tomorrow. Let's talk about it. Walker Buehler going up against his old team, the only team he ever knew, the LA Dodgers here in Game 3. That's cinema. I love matchups like that. I remember as a kid growing up, anytime you would see, any player going up against his old team, it always intrigued me, right? So Walker Buehler against the Dodgers, it's pretty interesting to me. But Buehler looked great in his last start, going up against Dustin May. Remember when Dustin May was one of the top pitching prospects in all of Major League Baseball? He's actually been on the rumor mill as of late. I don't know. The Dodgers, they seem to be growing cold on Dustin May. He's had quite the journey here over the last several years. A lot of injuries. Had the throat injury. I think he was eating a salad or something, and I guess he tore his esophagus, or I don't know what that was. I think a salad was the culprit. Dustin May, I hope he's doing all right, though. Kudos to him, man. He's had a ton of injuries over the years, and here he is. But he has been struggling this year. ERA at 4.73 over 17 starts, 99 innings pitched. Now, his last couple of outings, he has not been able to get through 5 innings. However, against the Twins his last time out, didn't give up any runs, 5 hits, but against the Giants, the outing before, he gave up 7 earned and 4 2/3. Now, taking a look at the overall numbers, ERA is right in line with the FIP, so, this could be a chance to go to town. Against Dustin May here and really try to get this series win. Again, we really need a series win at this point. Dropping against the Cubs, dropping it against the Phillies. How great would that be to get a series win against the Dodgers? But even though Dustin May has been struggling this year, it is going to be difficult, right? Taking a look at the advanced metrics, he's going to come at you with some good velo. He's averaging right around 95 miles an hour on the year. He's going to come at you with a lot of sweepers, sinkers as well. He's going to throw in a few cutters along the way. He's going to get some ground balls. But Dustin May, he's just going to give you a bit of a different look. Sure, he's had his issues this year, but a guy that's got some good velo and some good stuff, especially on the breaking pitches. So that's something the Red Sox are really going to have to look out for. Good stuff on the breaking pitches. But the fastball, he has not been able to really do much with his fastball this year. A -8 value on the fastball this year. So that's something the Red Sox, they're going to have to look for tomorrow. Try not to let him get ahead in the counts and then try to use those breaking pitches to put you away. So Walker Buehler, on the other hand, well, we all know Walker Buehler, he's had his struggles this year, but looked good. He's looked all right here the last few starts against the Phillies. I don't know what it is. I think Walker Buehler just seems to do a lot better in like these postseason kind of environments, right? Looked great against the Phillies his last time out. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned, 4 Ks. Let's see if he can keep this going here against his old team, the Dodgers, tomorrow. Now, let's move on here. We got some news to talk about here with the trade deadline. This is going to mix in a little bit with Marcelo Meyer. Again, Alex Cora saying before the game today that he's probably going to be out for a while. You don't know at this point. I believe he also said he's going to be getting an MRI. But again, with the wrist, you never want to play around with the wrist. So I would not be surprised at all. I know this might sound a little ridiculous, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Marcelo Meyer for the rest of the year. You just never know with these wrists, man. You got to be careful with them. And the Red Sox, especially how good of a player that he can be, I wonder if they really just want to take their time with him and, maybe just have him come back next year. I do wonder about that. I hope that's not the case. I hope it ends up just being fine and he can come back and play. But I'm looking at it from the Red Sox point of view. If he's out for, say, 6 weeks, I mean, you're looking at what, the last couple of weeks of the season? I mean, maybe you can get a few ABs, but I don't know. Maybe they just shut him down for the rest of the year and say, hey, let's just get after it this offseason. We'll see you in 2026. We'll see. I'm just speculating on that. That's just my guess right now. But let's get into the trade deadline. We got a bit of a report today. Nothing like crazy by any means. We've heard this report here before. I can't remember who reported it before. Was it Sean McAdam? I think it was Sean McAdam. I think he mentioned Yandy Diaz. But now Ken Rosenthal is touching on it as well. It says here, the Rays, well, actually, let's start up here. A rapid turnaround might force the Rays to shift course. Rays officials began signaling to teams late Friday that they will be open to moving Diaz, second baseman Brandon Lau, and others if they do not reverse their tailspin. A final decision might not come before Wednesday on the eve of the deadline. I don't know. That's like, I don't get that. Like he says, they began signaling that they will be open to moving Yandy Lau if they don't reverse their course. But a final decision might not come before Wednesday on the eve of the okay, I'm reading it wrong. Okay, I see what he's saying. So it could be a last second decision here. All right. The Rays have been reluctant to trade Diaz, who sacrificed perhaps greater money elsewhere by signing 2 club-friendly extensions. If they indeed become willing to move him, the Boston Red Sox will almost certainly be at the top of the list of the teams interested. Well, that's interesting, right? Now, when it comes to first base, obviously, we all know what they've been doing here since Tristan Casas went down. They've been going with a platoon, Roman Gonzalez, Abraham Toro. So, for the most part, it's been working. But you've looked at the production of Abraham Toro over the last month or so. Again, he had the sac fly there tonight. He's had a couple of hits along the way. But when you're looking at his overall numbers over the last month, you do wonder if you maybe need a bit more thump. He's been getting on base, right? But you wonder if you need just a little bit more oomph out of that, right? Romy, he's been able to do it against left-handed pitching. But you wonder if maybe a right-handed option every day, possibly, could be the fix here. And or could be the upgrade here. And this ties into Marcelo Meyer a little bit here. So obviously Marcelo Meyer, a lefty bat playing second base. Well, if he's going to be out, well, then you got to kind of wonder here, could the Red Sox, instead of adding a lefty bat at first base, could they maybe add a righty bat instead? And then you start seeing Seti play more second base. And listen, I'm on team center field, or I'm on team Seti in center field, right? The guy's phenomenal out there. But if they're not going to move Jarren Duran, which at this point, I'm not even just saying this after tonight's game definitely helps a little bit, but you just wonder, with the skill set that Duran brings to the table, I feel like the only way you can move him at this point is if you're going to get yourself Joe Ryan or one of these, top quality starting pitchers out there that you can put into the number 2 spot in the rotation. I feel like at this point, that's the only way I'm going to move Duran, right? I'm not just going to be moving him to, get back like a high-ranking prospect or whatever it may be. I think you need to get back a number 2 for the rotation and someone that's under control, right? Not a rental. To me, it's Joe Ryan. Maybe you could talk Mitch Keller, but That's the only way I think I'm moving him at this point. So if you're going to be keeping him, that could be, having Seti over at second base. That could be kind of the way to work through this. And then against left-handed pitching, that's when you could see Seti, go out to center field, right? And then Duran, whatever you want to do with the lineup there. So you could see Seti getting more of the time over at second base. You got a couple other guys in the mix as well. David Hamilton, I don't know how much more you're going to get out of him. Maybe they give Vaughn Grissom a chance. Maybe Christian Campbell can come back up. But that's kind of the way I'm seeing it, where Seti can get some action more often at second base. And then you look at first base. Where first base, maybe Yandy Diaz can slide right in. And then with Romy, if you're going to be having an everyday option, well, then this is where you could see Romy getting some time at second base, right? Where Seti, against left-handed pitching, he can play center field. And then Romy, he plays second base against the lefties, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I wonder if that's the way the Red Sox are thinking too, because you got to keep Romy in the lineup against lefties, obviously. But if you wanted to make an upgrade, Yandy every day at first base, and then you basically have Seti, Romy getting the majority of the playing time at second base. I know you're really cutting down Seti's playing time in center field at that point, but I don't know. Is that the best possible version of the team? Obviously, Seti's defense in center field, it's phenomenal. But if you're going to be keeping Duran and you still need to make an upgrade with the lineup, I feel like that's kind of what you got to do right there. We'll see what they end up doing, but getting back to Yandy, if they were to make a play for him, listen. He's putting up some great numbers this year. He's hitting 287 with a 346 on base, 470 on the slugging, a 125 WRC plus, 17 homers. He's been hot as of late. I would love to get someone like Yandy Diaz, and he's under control for next year. So that could be a nice little, security blanket, because you don't know what's going to happen with Tristan Casas here. He's coming back from a major injury. Who knows what the rehab is going to look like. He's walking around and whatnot now. Before I get to the rest of it, though, if you are watching on Nesson, I do have to cut it off right there. Thank you for watching. We'll be back here for Game 3 tomorrow. We'll see you then. But everyone here on YouTube, Yandy. I would love Yandy on the Red Sox if it were a possibility. Now, I've also seen some people bringing this up. I was kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with Marcelo Meyer, because I'm thinking all right, does he end up just missing a couple of weeks? But now that you saw Cora talking about Marcelo Meyer here today, that he could end up missing a good amount of time. Well, now I'm kind of starting to think here, all right, this could really open up some possibilities. Could you maybe go after Eugenio Suarez to play first base? He played first base last night. I believe that is the first time he has played first base in his career. Yes. He played 2 innings at first base. I believe he went in late in the game. Could this be an option? Could this be sort of it's not exactly like a Kyle Schwarber sort of a move, right? Schwarber, I guess you could look at it that way, right? Where Schwarber, he was more of an outfielder, right? DH. So, yeah, he never played first base either. But with Suarez, he's played third. And pretty much most people across Major League Baseball, they're going to say, yeah, if you play third base, you can play first base, right? So, it's like the Rafi Devers conversation all over again, for crying out loud. But could you turn to Eugenio Suarez here? He's been phenomenal. Could you imagine him in this lineup for the last couple of months? Good grief. He's got almost 40 home runs, a 587 on the slugging, a 145 WRC plus. So, again, getting back to laying out this little blueprint that I had, one more time, just in case you missed it. I'm thinking Seti, majority of the time. If you keep Duran, Seti, majority of the time at second base. He goes out to center field against lefties. Romy Gonzalez plays second base against lefties. And then you make an upgrade at first. So again, if you got either Eugenio Suarez or Yandy Diaz, I think that's pretty solid. Now, what would a trade look like? What would a trade look like? Let's take a look-see. Well, it's going to be pretty pricey for either of these guys. Now, with Suarez, he is only basically a couple of months of control here, and then hopefully the postseason. But if you were to make a play, it's going to be pricey despite the lack of long-term control because of the market. There are a lot of teams out there looking to make a push for Eugenio Suarez. And I wonder if the Red Sox, I cannot click on buttons here today, and I wonder if the Red Sox would pay the price. I'm just thinking of Craig, right? He has made some aggressive moves, obviously bringing in Garrett Crochet. He has shown that he can get some deals done. Does he pull the trigger on what it would take to land Suarez? Now, as of right now, I mean, this median value here on baseball trade values, it's, $8 million as of right now. That's solid. I mean, that's already a decent amount. But then you factor in the market as well. I mean, you're looking at a pretty hefty you're going to have to give up a decent amount. And for basically a 2 to 3 month rental, I don't know if he's going to pay it up. You could also maybe look into seeing if you do some kind of a package. I mean, listen, I don't know if this is possible, but if you could somehow land Suarez and Merrill Kelly in one trade, I mean, you're right there. You are solving your issues, right? You're getting a guy to go behind Crochet. You're getting a guy that now has shown you that he can play some first base. It was only 2 innings. But this could be a solution for the Red Sox for the next couple of months. We'll see if they want to pay up the price. Now, what would a trade look like from going back from the Red Sox side? Well, I think you're going to have to give up something good. And 2 guys that have been getting scouted recently are Franklin Arias and Brandon Clark. At least those are the names that are being reported, right? We had we had one report last night during Brandon Clark's start that there were 8 different teams watching him. Could one of those teams have been the Diamondbacks? I'm not so sure. But I would think, like, if you're Arizona, they're trying to get some pitching within the organization. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're looking at someone like Brandon Clark. Arias, probably not. So if you were to do something here, I mean, I think you would have to give up Clark. I'm not giving up Tolley. I'm not doing that. If a team is asking me for Peyton Tolley, I'm saying no. Right now, Peyton Tolley, he's further ahead. He's ranked ahead of Brandon Clark in pretty much all of the prospect rankings out there. With Brandon Clark, he's still got to work on his command. He's got some good velo. He's got some good stuff. But he's got to work on getting the strikes, right? So that's where I wonder, and along with the fact that the Red Sox, who just introduced their top 3 picks this past weekend, with Kyson Witherspoon, with Anthony Ianson, with Marcus Phillips, along with 13 other pitchers that they drafted, I wonder if someone like Brandon Clark could be expendable. But do you trade away Brandon Clark for 2 rentals? That's where I get a little, and I don't know if Craig is going to do that. I think he'd be willing to give up Clark in a deal where you'd get a cost-controlled player back. I don't know if he does it for rentals. I don't know about that. Now, we'll see. And again, it might even take more than Brandon Clark. Remember, there was a report out there not too long ago that the Yankees, they offered their number 2 prospect, Cam Schlittler. That is a hard one to say. But Cam Schlittler is a top 100 prospect. They offered him and reportedly some other prospects for both Suarez and Kelly, and they ended up turning to Ryan McMahon, so obviously the Diamondbacks didn't want to do that. So, I don't know. Could you maybe just go after Suarez here? Would you still have to give up someone like a Brandon Clark, someone of that caliber, Could you maybe get some other guys into the mix? I don't know. You got to remember, like, depends on what the Diamondbacks are looking for, right? We don't know what their preference is. Are they looking for a certain kind of a pitcher? Are they looking for a pitcher with, I don't know, like what? I don't know. I mean, they're looking for a guy that throws good breaking stuff, good velo. Are they looking for a righty, a lefty? Who knows what they're looking for? I don't know. Obviously, Cam Schlittler didn't seem to fit the bill. So I don't know if Brandon Clark would be an answer for them. Could you work out something else possibly? Maybe. For a package, I also do wonder if a package is even possible. I feel like if you're the Diamondbacks, you'd probably want to keep these two in separate trades to maximize the value of each of those players to try and get the biggest possible return that you can get. So probably a package is not going to happen unless you really get blown away. And again, I don't see Craig blowing away the Diamondbacks to try and get a couple of rentals. But maybe something could be had for one of these guys. We'll see. Now, getting the Yandy. This is where it's interesting, and it opens up, I think, some more possibilities. Because you have Yandy for another year. So that's where I wonder if the Red Sox, they're willing to get pretty aggressive because you would have him for one more season. And again, like I said with Casas, it would be a pretty nice insurance policy to have. And then if Casas is ready for next year, well, then you figure it out then. All right. But at least you know you have Yandy if you were able to pull off a trade. I've seen some people mention maybe go after Taj Bradley. Again, I just wonder how far are the Rays willing to go trading in division? I don't know about that. I don't know. Would they give up a guy like Bradley? I'm not so sure. But I was kind of thinking in my head here, you know, who could be a guy if you're trading for Yandy? Who could be a guy that you send back? Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Clark would come up in that conversation. But if you were to send back a position player, one guy, I don't know what it is. I just think to myself, he just seems like a guy the Rays would go after. I'm looking at James Tibbs, right? A lefty bat with some platoon risk with him. That was something mentioned with him coming out of the draft, where you wonder if he's a guy that's really going to see most of his time against right-handed pitching. But the Rays love those kind of bats. Love those bats. They love those platoon bats. So I wonder if James Tibbs, who is out of Florida State, so he'd be staying in Florida, you know, just kind of fits, in my opinion, right? So I wonder if you could do something like James Tibbs, maybe throw in I don't know, maybe one or two more prospects. I'm not sure what you would do. I mean, I don't know, maybe like someone a little lower level. Maybe you could send back, you know, the Rays do like their athletic shortstops. Nazon Zanatello hasn't fully been able to figure it out, but he kind of fits that profile the Rays like to look for. So maybe you could send him. Or Nelly Taylor, he's very athletic as well. Maybe send back a pitching or I don't know, or Yoferi Rodriguez even. Like he kind of fits that profile the Rays like, that kind of just that projectable sort of an athletic profile, right? I think one of those guys could fit the bill in this kind of a trade. And then, I don't know, maybe send back like one more pitching prospect. For example, like let's go to Sox prospects. Sox prospects still looking like it was made back in 2002. But I kind of like that. I don't know, maybe like Hayden Mullins, kind of someone lower down here, like Fajardo at number 22, Mullins at 23. I would have said Blake, is it Wayhunt? I'm sorry, I'm botching that one. But I would have said maybe him, but he's on the IL right now. But let's just go with Hayden Mullins. Hayden Mullins, let's do him. Right, so I'll say here, you know, let's go with, I'll do Zanatello. I'll do him. He's an infielder. Maybe someone like him. So you're sending an outfielder. You're sending a pitching prospect. You're sending an infield prospect. That's rejected on baseball trade values, but maybe something along these lines, or maybe even just a couple, right? Maybe you can send Tibbs and Hayden Mullins and you can get yourself a deal done. I'm not so sure. But I think Yandy could be had if the Rays are willing to move him. The Red Sox, I think, would rather get someone under control instead of giving up good prospects for a rental or rentals, depending on the situation. I don't know. That's the way I could see them going. I think for Suarez, you're probably going to have to give up some beef. You're going to have to do that. But maybe Merrill Kelly, maybe you could figure out some kind of a trade there without having to give up, top 10 prospects, or maybe someone just around that like 8 to 10 range or whatever it is. For Merrill Kelly, that's a completely different conversation, but I don't know. Even giving up Connolly early, that would be a lot, in my opinion. Brandon Clark would absolutely be a lot. I don't know. I actually do wonder if the Red Sox would be good trade partners for someone like Kelly. I don't know, because I think Connolly early is probably just too much to give up for a 2-month rental. I know the Red Sox at the point where, they're just trying to get to the postseason here. If it's a World Series kind of a move, then maybe, that's a different conversation, but they're just trying to get to the postseason here. So I don't know if you're giving up a guy like early in this situation. So I don't know if they would be a good fit to try and get someone like Kelly. I don't know, man. But if you were to go after Yandy, I think something along these lines could be reasonable. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, getting back to the article, he does mention as well that Ryan O'Hearn could be a possibility. He puts the Red Sox specifically in this. Ryan O'Hearn, he is in a cold spell. Don't forget about that. He has been pretty cold. But as a rental, he could be an option for the Red Sox, among other clubs. So it looks like, to me at least, it seems like the Red Sox are really zeroed in on one of these guys. O'Hearn does have a good batted ball profile, so I think that's something the Red Sox, where they see him as a fallback option. But it seems to me Yandy's number one on their list. We will see, ladies and gentlemen. But everybody, I'm out of here. I'm going to wrap it up right there. We've had right around 200 people for the entire show. You're all amazing. Thank you so much for all your support. Do appreciate that. We'll be back here tomorrow for Game 3. Let's see if they can finally pull off a series win against one of these top National League teams. If you can, on the way out, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow.